You know that feeling when you finally decide to skip the $200 budget ice maker that everyone swears works and end up with a half-melted tray of slushy cubes that taste like freezer burn? I've been there, and the regret lingers longer than the ice itself. That's why I spent a good chunk of time digging through specs, warranty papers, and a handful of forum posts before I even pulled the Scotsman C0530MA Prodigy Plus out of its box. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The question I kept asking myself was simple: does this machine actually make the kind of reliable, high-volume ice that a serious home bar, catering gig, or small-scale event crew needs? Or is it just another overpriced appliance that looks good on paper but falls short once the first batch is out? First off, the Prodigy Plus isn't trying to be a countertop novelty. At 30 inches wide and a production rating of 562 pounds per day, it sits firmly in the medium cube tier that commercial kitchens and serious entertainers gravitate toward. That means you're looking at roughly 12 cubic feet of ice per day, enough to keep a full-size cooler stocked for a weekend party, or to keep a bar serving dozens of cocktails per hour from running dry. The air-cooled design also sidesteps the need for a dedicated water line or a massive condensate drain. You just plug it in, give it a water source, and let the built-in condenser do the work. For anyone who doesn't have a floor-level service entrance or who wants to keep the unit on a raised platform, that's a genuine convenience. But the real-world test starts when you actually turn the machine on. The first thing I noticed is how quickly the Prodigy Plus gets up to speed. Within an hour of startup you have a steady stream of clear, medium-sized cubes forming in the bin. The ice is the kind of uniform, solid block you expect from a commercial unit, no soft, hollow snow that melts the second it touches a drink. That reliability is where the warranty package starts to matter. Scotsman backs the compressor and condenser, the evaporator, and even parts and labor with separate guarantees. In practice, that translates to peace of mind if you're running the machine night after night. A broken compressor on a cheap model can leave you scrambling for a replacement, but with this level of coverage you're more likely to get a repair fast, and you won't be stuck with a unit that sputters out half-melted cubes because the evaporator is underperforming. Now, who should actually consider spending the extra $2,000 plus on this thing? If you're a home entertainer who throws weekend barbecues for 20-plus guests, or you run a small catering business that needs a dependable source of ice for salads, seafood displays, or chilled desserts, the Prodigy Plus starts to make sense. The production capacity means you won't have to schedule ice deliveries or run multiple smaller machines to keep up. The air-cooled system also keeps the unit relatively quiet compared with water-cooled models, which is a plus if you're placing it near a dining area or an open-plan kitchen. And because it's assembled in the US with a mix of domestic and foreign parts, you avoid the made in China and shipped in a box stigma that sometimes hints at lower durability. On the other side of the coin, there are clear reasons to walk away. If you're just looking for a weekend-only solution, or you only need a few pounds of ice for occasional cocktails, the size and price of the Prodigy Plus are overkill. A smaller countertop model can deliver the same cube size for a fraction of the cost and will fit under a bar or in a pantry without a dedicated floor space. The unit also demands a stable, level surface that can support its weight. The machine itself weighs close to 200 pounds, plus the water and ice load. If your kitchen or bar area isn't built for that kind of heft, you'll be dealing with a moving headache every few months when you need to clean or service it. Speaking of daily usability, the control panel is straightforward: a few buttons for start/stop, a digital display showing production rate, and a simple alarm system that flashes when the bin is full or when there's a temperature anomaly. There's no fancy touchscreen, which some might see as a downside, but the simplicity means fewer things that can break. The water reservoir is removable, making refilling a quick task, and the bin can be lifted out with a single handle, handy when you need to empty a full day's worth of ice into a cooler. The real hidden trade-off shows up in the ambient temperature requirement. Because it's air-cooled, the unit performs best in a room that stays between 68°F and 86°F. In a hot garage or a cramped, poorly ventilated space, you'll notice the production dip as the condenser struggles to shed heat. That's something a potential buyer has to plan for, either allocate a climate-controlled spot or accept a slower output on sweltering days. Another practical nuance is water.